Hello, dear Deep History Lab viewers. In the previous section, we saw that the purpose of economic activity in ancient Greek and medieval scholastic thought was to maintain moral balance and a good life. But now, everything is changing. Today, we will focus on mercantilism, the period where the foundations of the modern world were laid and the purpose of the economy was redefined with the rise of nation-states. This era marked the economic thought and policies of Europe from the 1500s to the 1750s. Our key question: how is a nation's power and wealth increased? For the mercantilists, the answer was very simple: gold and silver. Chapter 1. Historical background. Why mercantilism? To understand mercantilism, we must know the three major changes of the period. 1. The rise of nation-states. Centralized kingdoms began to replace feudal lordships. They needed ready cash, or gold, to establish a powerful army and bureaucracy. 2. Geographical discoveries, age of exploration. The massive amount of gold and silver flowing from the Americas into Europe inflated prices and made precious metals a symbol of power. 3. The Reformation and Renaissance. The authority of the Church weakened. The ambition to earn money was no longer considered a mortal sin as it was in the Middle Ages. Instead, it became a national duty. For the mercantilists, wealth was not agriculture or labor, but the stock of precious metals directly entering the treasury. Consider what power meant to a king or queen in that era. It meant being able to hire mercenaries when a war broke out and building magnificent palaces. You needed only one thing for all of this: gold and silver. Therefore, the state's main economic goal was to continuously increase the precious metals in its treasury. Chapter 2. The core principles of mercantilism. Mercantilism is a set of practical policy recommendations put forth by merchants, financiers, and statesmen rather than an academic school of thought. Bullionism, the strictest form of mercantilism, aimed to ensure that the amount of gold and silver entering the country always exceeded the amount leaving. This was fundamentally a foreign trade war. According to mercantilists, the total wealth in the world, that is, the amount of gold and silver, was fixed. Therefore, the enrichment of one nation inevitably meant the impoverishment of another. The economy was a competition, not a cooperation. This is completely contrary to today's understanding of global trade. We now believe that trade is a game where everyone can win. But in the 17th century, English merchants looked at the Dutch, and French merchants looked at the Spanish, saying, "Every gold coin they earn is a gold coin we lose." Mercantilist thought assigns an active and regulatory role to the state. To protect its treasury, it is essential for the state to supervise trade, impose restrictions, and offer incentives. This is the exact opposite of the laissez-faire principle later advocated by the physiocrats and the classics. Chapter 3. Mercantilist policies. The trade surplus formula. All mercantilist policies served a single purpose: exports greater than imports. To prevent gold outflow, high customs duties. The import of goods, especially luxury consumer items and goods that could be produced domestically, was made almost impossible with very high taxes. Raw material export ban. The sale of domestic raw materials unprocessed to foreign countries was forbidden. This was because if the raw material was processed domestically, it could be exported as a finished product at a higher price, bringing in more gold. To ensure gold inflow. Subsidies, subventions. State aid was provided to support local industries and ensure their competitiveness in the international market. Monopolies and patents. State monopolies or special privileges were granted to important industries. Importance of population. A large population provided both cheap labor, reducing production costs, and a source of soldiers for a strong army. Colonial policy. Colonies were the heart of the mercantilist system. Source of raw materials. Raw materials were taken from the colonies cheaply and tax-free. Closed market. Colonies were obligated to purchase only the finished goods of the mother country. They were forbidden from trading with other countries. This meant a guaranteed trade surplus for the mother country. Chapter 4. Key representatives. Thomas Munn and criticisms. Thomas Munn, a director of the East India Company, was the most influential advocate of mercantilism. His famous work, England's Treasure for Foreign Trade, is the core manifesto of mercantilist policies. Munn summarized the core idea by stating, "The sole means to enrich this kingdom is that exports must always exceed imports." This system was fiercely criticized in the mid-18th century by the physiocrats and especially by Adam Smith. Wrong definition of wealth. Smith argued that mercantilists viewed gold as wealth itself, whereas gold was merely the instrument of wealth. Gold was not something the nation could consume, like wheat or wine. The zero-sum game fallacy. It would later be proven that free trade could actually increase the wealth of all nations. Neglect of the domestic economy. The excessive focus on foreign trade led to the neglect of domestic productivity and consumption within the nation. Mercantilism was essentially a project to create a powerful state. Economic prosperity was not for the comfort of the populace, but for the power of the royal treasury. However, this was the most systematic example of using economics as a state tool, rather than viewing it as a science. Thus, we have seen how the focus of economics shifted from moral concerns to the arena of national competition. So, after this mercantilist mindset, how did the source of wealth shift from gold to agriculture? And how was physiocracy, considered the first scientific school of modern economics, born? In the next chapter, we will dive into the idea of the natural order and the famous tableau économique model during the French Age of Enlightenment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. See you then!